Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Open Word Christian Ministries Inspiration Corner. I am so excited about being with you here on today, and we're going to talk about family, but today we're really going to talk about communication. How many of you know people don't know how to talk to one another in family? Some of you say, I know that to be the truth. Yes, my family doesn't know how to talk to one another. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing, because I believe talking to one another in the wrong way can produce the wrong results, versus talking to each other in the right way produces the right results. So let's go ahead and get into the Word of God, all right? And then we're going to talk about communication in the family. That's what we're going to talk about, communication in the family, all right? Here we go. 1 Corinthians chapter number 15, verse 33, out of the King James Version says this: be not deceived, or it says, be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners. Now, I want to go to Ephesians now, chapter 4 and verse 29, out of the King James Bible. And it says this: let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, lifting up, building up, that it may minister grace to the hearers. That really sheds light on this whole communication piece. Paul talks about in Corinthians, evil communication corrupts good manners, all right? Corrupt good manners. And then he says this: let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good. The only communication you should have is that which is good, that it may minister, that it may edify, it may build up, and that it may minister grace, God's favor, upon the ears of the hearer. Now, I'm going to read that same Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29, and I believe I talked about this passage on Sunday. And it said, do not let unwholesome talk, foul, profane, worthless, vulgar words ever come out of your mouth, but only such speech as is good for building up others according to the need and the occasion, so that it will be a blessing to those who hear you speak. Look at that. Building up according to the need and according to the occasion. We must make sure that we have the right words at the right time of need and occasion. All right. Now, if we look at the same passage now of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29, and we look at it in the New Living Translation, it says this: don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words may be an encouragement to those who hear them. Abusive language, calling one another out of their name, calling one another stupid or ignorant, using words that do not build up, using words that will not encourage the actual individual that's hearing you speak. Now, let's look at this word communication. It means the successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. That's what this means. So why is communication, why is it even important? Okay. Communication within family is extremely important because it enables members to express their need, their wants, and their concerns to each other. Open and honest communication creates an atmosphere that allows family members to express their differences, as well as love and admiration for one another. Communication now is a vehicle. It's a vehicle that you use to transport ideas and transport feelings and encouragement. It's a vehicle to transport. So when you think about that, remember we talked about last week words being containers, and whatever is in the container, when you give it to that person, the essence of that container will definitely affect that person that you're delivering that container to, or the vehicle in this way that we're talking about communication. So watch this. The more effective your family can communicate together, the better. It will keep you open to share thoughts and feelings when you feel that it's a safe place for you to communicate. Now, this deals with husbands and wives. It deals with parents and their children. It deals with siblings. It deals with sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws and aunts and uncles and grandmamas and granddaddies and cousins and first cousins and second cousins and third cousins and fourth cousins. It deals with the entire family. It deals with the family that you gave birth to and the family that's extended. You might have married into a family that was already pre-existing. In so many words. You married a beautiful woman or you married a handsome man that already had children. And now you are considered a blended family. Communication works the same with them as well as the children that you gave birth to. Okay, here we go. Now, positive communication and relationships with families help to build trust. Now, trust is something that is earned and not freely given. That's a whole nother subject matter of trust, because sometimes people misunderstand the value of trust. When you break my trust, then I will not communicate with you. So it's going to take some time, not only for you to say, forgive me for it, or I apologize for it, but it's going to take some resowing. It's going to take some replanting. It's going to take some time to build that trust all over again. Okay. Now, trust is an important part of helping to make sure that you maintain partnership in your family, okay? Because every family has a type of partnership going on one with the other. Now, effective communication is critical in every aspect of a person's life. Communication skills influence relationships in families, in children, friends, and even at work. Good communication helps build relationship in good times, and mend relationships in difficult times. These skills include as well speaking as well as listening and nonverbal communication. Now, when we look at this whole nonverbal thing, I got some information to share with you when it comes to nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is 90% of the communication, the stuff that you don't say. That is considered 90% of the communication. Now, what you do say is only 10%. So you can say the right thing, but if you have nonverbal things going on, your body language, your attitude, how you're looking at a person, how you're rolling your eyes or not engaging in the conversation in a civil manner, if your aura, if your body language is not coinciding with your words, then it's going to be hard to hear what you're saying because I'm too busy with what I see. All right, how you're acting, how you're behaving. So remember, content or verbal is 7%. Nonverbal communication is 90%. That's a big margin. That is a huge difference between the two. Okay, here we go. So now that we know this, let's look at some things here. Positive communication smooths out the bumps in the road in life and in family. So what are the things that you need to have in communication? All right. Now, these are some powerful words, and I want you to write them down or type them in your device. Okay. The first thing I want to share with you that you need in communication in family, the first word is honesty. Honesty. Now, that can be a challenge for some people. But honesty is necessary in communication in family. Now, I do understand that there's some other things that actually have to come into play when we talk about honesty. In other words, you have to feel safe enough to be honest, especially if you're dealing with a person that is prone to explode. all right, or misunderstand, or throw theatrics into the conversation, playing the victim. Oh, that's all right. I'm just a bad person. That's not helping the situation at all. So sometimes when a person acts like that and misbehaves like that or goes into this drama presentation, it is difficult for you to be honest with them because you already know what's going to happen on the other side of that. However, you still have to find a way where you can be honest with them, because when we're not honest with each other, it will cause displacement. It will cause division. It will definitely cause a tear and a break in the relationship. In a tear, it starts a little bit at a time. And as pressure is added to the tear, it will ultimately break, or it ultimately will tear that relationship in two. But I understand, once again, there's some other dynamics that goes along with honesty when you're sharing with a family member. And perhaps at another time, we'll dig a little bit deeper into that. But the first word in communication, good communication, is honesty. The second word is not only honesty, how about this one? Respect. Perhaps respect ought to be first and honesty should be second. All right. There's no order in this thing, but I just think about respect because a lot of times it depends on the respect you have for the individual that you're speaking with and the individual that is listening to you and their respect for you. If I have no respect for you, I'm not going to be honest with you. If I have no respect for you, then I'm not going to really share what I feel. So respect is paramount in a relationship. If I have no respect for my father, I have no respect for my mother, I have no respect for the relationship with my children or my sibling or my grandmother or my aunt or my uncle or my grandfather, anybody in the family, if I have no respect for you, then I'm not going to even want to talk to you because you have killed the respect that I have, probably through some behaviors or some ugly communication that we've had in the past. I have no respect for you. All right. Or it may be because of some things that you have done that has caused me not to have respect for you. When you don't have respect in a relationship with your family members, it makes it very difficult to communicate honestly. Okay. Now, here is now the third word. Open. Open. I have to be open. I have to be honest, but I can't be honest and I can't be open if I don't respect you. But open. In other words, let me go ahead and put all the cards on the table here. Let me go ahead and deal with the elephant in the room, some terminology that some use. Let's deal with honesty. All right. Here is the problem that I'm having with our relationship. Now, remember now, this goes from the parent to the siblings and the children and the husbands and the wives and the other parts of the family members. I have to be honest with you. You are very condescending. And because you're condescending, it causes me not to want to be around you because you are condescending. Now, you must be honest. You must do it in respect. Because how you come across with your openness can also determine how a person receives it. The timing is also involved as well. You know, Scripture tells us to everything there is a season and there's a time to every purpose under the heavens. And then there is another verse that says there's a time to speak and there's a time to keep silent. Now, some people use this honesty as a whipping post. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. Well, that's the problem. You're always telling me how you feel. All right. And you don't take into consideration how what you have to say affects anybody else in the family because you feel that you ought to be able to say whatever you got to say. Well, you can say what you have to say, but perhaps you need to temper that down because you can say it, but how am I receiving it? How is the other person receiving it? Is it really making a positive impact? Remember what we said earlier. Is it edifying? Is it building? Or is it tearing down? Okay, here we go. How about this word? Kind. Kind. K-I-N-D. Kind. K-I-N-D. Kind. K-I-N-D. Kind. It's hard for me to hear what you have to say if you're coming across aggressive, if you're coming across mean, if you're coming across accusatory, if you're doing those types of things and you're not kind, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Matter of fact, this conversation is over. Perhaps that's the reason why a lot of families can't get together and have a civil conversation, because some haven't learned how to be kind. But it goes back to what I said earlier. If you're not respectful, then it's going to be very difficult to be kind. So now, here are some steps that will help with communication with family. Now, you may want to take these down here, type them in your device or write them down, because I believe they will help as it relates to communication in family. Are you ready for them? Here they go. Number one, if you're going to have good communication in family, you need to schedule family time. Now, when we talk about scheduling it, sometimes that can be cumbersome. So perhaps just when you all get together, instead of everybody going to their separate rooms, getting on their phones, because that's the big thing now. I've even noticed that in my family sometimes. When we all get together, we have to create moments to have communication time, because if we don't, one is over there on their phone, another one's over there on their phone, another is over there on their phone, and quite honestly, even myself, I must throw myself in the equation too, that I may be on my phone. Not talking to anybody, but how about this? You're looking at TikTok videos. You're looking at Facebook. You're seeing who responds to your emails if you're conducting business. You may be texting somebody back that tried to get in touch with you earlier, but because you were not available, now you're texting them back, and there's a conversation going on in your text messages. Or you may be on Instagram and you're looking to see what's happening on Instagram, or you are now communicating back with someone that spoke to you or sent you a message on IG. So now we have this disturbance going on because we're preoccupied with phones and social media. So we have to have some scheduled family time where we come together and say, you know what, we're not doing the phones today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play a game. I find out that games are so healthy for families, because we get a chance to laugh, we get a chance to be with one another, and it's a really good thing. So sometimes you just need to schedule that time. Number two, establish family routines. Now, I know we live in a big, busy society where everybody's preoccupied, but routines. Now, this is something that you're going to have to start off slow for some of you if you haven't done it. I know, for example, for my family, there's a routine. Every Sunday after church, we always eat together. All right. Whether we're going to a restaurant or whether we're coming down to the house, my house, and we're eating together. Now, later on, because I'm a guy that likes to ride motorcycles, later on, I'll probably get on my motorcycle and I'll take some time that I can air my head out. But there are times that I say, no, I'm just going to stay home with the fam, and we're just going to have some interaction time. We're going to laugh. We're going to clown. We're going to watch a movie. We're going to do something like that. Okay. So you have to establish some family routines. Number three, eat meals together. That's also important. Now, I know that can be challenging because everybody kind of disperses. You go over there and watch your program. You go over here and talk here, and you go over here and you do your thing. And sometimes you need to bring everybody together so you can have some conversations around the kitchen table, just talking one to another. Now, I do realize it's easier to do that when they're children. But once everybody gets grown, now they're kind of in their own world. So we have to make sure that we have to get those times when we can eat meals together, whether it's at a restaurant, even, or when it's at home. Number four, allow one-on-one time. Yeah, when you as a parent spend some time, and I'm using the parent and the sibling, I'm pairing and the child rather, because sometimes if you have more than one child, every child is different. I have 4 children. I have 2 nephews, and I have extended children from my children's friends that they call me dad. But as far as my biological children, I do spend time one-on-one. It can be on the phone. It can be going out to breakfast with them, taking one of them out to breakfast, or taking a ride, or with one of my children. She's involved in music. We have our time when we're doing something collectively as it relates to her music career or her acting career, and we do some things in the studio. You got to have some one-on-one time with your family. Now, here's the next one. Be an active listener. An active listener is vitally important for you to do. And we're going to talk about listening in our next session when we come back together, because I understand that this listening piece is huge. A lot of people don't know how to listen. In our next session, we're going to talk about listening. So be an active listener, and I'm going to share with you what an active listener is. Number 7, show kindness and appreciation. That's self-explanatory, all right? Learn how to be kind and show appreciation for your children, for your parents, for your siblings, for your husband, for your wife, for your grandparents, for your aunts and uncles and cousins. Show kindness and appreciation. I guarantee you, it will heal a lot of wounds. And then last but definitely not least, stay connected through technology. We're in a technological age. Sending a text to one another every now and then. Hey, I was thinking about you. I love you. You know, doing something like that doesn't take long. You do it with everybody else. Do it with your family members as well. That will help you to stay connected, and especially for those that are not living in your same state or even in your same city. Well, that's all the time I have for you today, dealing with communication. And the next session we have today, when I come back on next Inspiration Corner, we're going to talk about that listening piece, okay? Have a wonderful day. Gary Taylor here, Open Word Christian Ministries on the Inspiration Corner. I had a wonderful time with you, and I'm going to come back again, and we're going to talk about listening. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.